The planet chose him.
Daniel, an astronaut and a scientist, a sudden accident during his mission leaves him stranded on an unknown planet. Alone, light years away from Earth, he must fight to survive in this strange new world. But the planet is more than rock and sky. It holds a silent secret, watching him with every step. The final moments of the Prometheus were not marked by the roar of explosions, but by a chilling digital quiet. The elements of the eternal world had collided with the technology of modern worlds, leaving Daniel a dumbfound. It began with the rhythmic chime of a Level 3 diagnostic alert, followed by the silent, ominous flicker of a warning light on the auxiliary power conduit. Daniel, the mission's lead xenobiologist, watched with a scientist's detached fascination as the ship's systems began to fail in a cascading domino effect. Life support flickered, plunging his command pod into a momentary breathless silence before emergency systems kicked in. The navigation grid dissolved into a screen of static. Finally, with a sigh of pressurized gas, the primary thrusters went cold. The ship was no longer a vessel of exploration. It was a cosmic derelict, a tomb sailing toward an unknown fate. The crash landing was a symphony of chaos that somehow ended in a perfect muted finale. The pod's ablative shielding glowed white-hot as it tore through the atmosphere, a brilliant streak of fire against the deep purple sky. Inside, Daniel was a prisoner of the G-force, his body pressed against the restraints as the pod groaned and screamed. He stumbled out of the fractured hatch, the pod's interior a twisted wreck. The air that rushed in was cool and crisp, carrying the scent of damp earth and a strange metallic ozone. He blinked, adjusting to the light of two suns, one a brilliant, fiery orange, the other a soft, cool blue that hung in the purplish-pink sky. He was alone, light years from home, on a world that felt less like a wilderness and more like a work of art. The silence was still there, but it was no longer terrifying. It was a blank slate, a canvas waiting to be filled with the story of his survival. The first few weeks were a testament to his training and his human will. Survival was not about heroics. It was about discipline, routine, and a methodical mind. Daniel found a suitable overhang beneath a sheer cliff of shimmering crystal rock that seemed to draw in the twin suns' light and radiate a gentle warmth at night. Food and water were his primary concerns. He discovered early on that the silver-leafed trees collected condensation at night. The water that dripped from it was pure and sweet, a small but significant victory in his daily struggle. He slowly began to explore his immediate surroundings, driven by the need for more resources and a gnawing curiosity. The landscape was beautiful, but it was also reactive. The twin suns' colors would shift in an unnatural way, sometimes turning a vibrant red or a sickly green, as if mirroring his emotional state. As he ventured further, he came across the first sign of intelligent life. Not living life, but ancient. Massive stone arches of an unknown rust-colored material rose from the ground, their surfaces covered in intricate geometric patterns that seemed to shift and shimmer in the twin sunlight. Daniel spent weeks studying the ruins, his scientific mind reasserting its dominance over his primal survival instincts. The structure was a sprawling complex, partially buried beneath the strange, marshy soil and woven with the planet's unique flora. One evening, as the two suns converged at sunset, casting a bizarre emerald glow over the landscape, he discovered a small fissure in the base of a massive arch. It was more than a crack. It was an entrance. He squeezed through the opening into a perfectly preserved chamber, the air within feeling still and ancient. In the center of the room was a small glowing pedestal. On top of it sat a single crystalline orb that pulsed with a soft, warm light. A wave of energy, not electric, but something else entirely, washed over him, and 1,000 images flooded his mind. The orb was not a power source. It was a data archive, a record of the planet itself, a history book written in light. The last few months blurred into a cycle of exploration and revelation. Daniel returned to the orb daily, his scientific mind devouring the information it provided. The ruins were not monuments to the dead, but a living library. He wasn't a victim of a terrible accident. He was a chosen recipient. The planet needed him. It had been waiting for millennia. He was not stranded. He was welcomed home. And as the orb pulsed with a vibrant, welcoming glow, he knew his long, lonely journey was finally over. He was no longer an observer in a beautiful diorama. He was part of the art itself.